Well, hey, friends, it's Kevin with Better Bible Reading here today for another Bible review. I wanted to do a 2-for-1 special today because both of these Bibles are very similar, but they have a couple distinct differences about them that makes them worth noting. This Bible, as you can see, has my name on it. This is a cherished Bible of mine because this is the very first ESV Bible I ever got. This is the ESV Thinline Bible, and unlike my budget-friendly decisions of the other kinds of Bibles we've looked at between my wide margin and journaling, this is a genuine leather Bible. I've had this the longest of any ESV Bible. I think I have had this since the middle of 2011. So this Bible is just over 10 years old at this point, or actually just over 11 years old. But you can look at the kind of condition of it. It does have a little bit of wear. It has, you can see some fading, but just in terms of the leather itself just looks better and better with age. I am happy with how this Bible has lasted over the years. This is about as classic as you can get. Growing up, I always had some kind of a thin-line Bible. I wanted something that was available to carry around, youth group, church service, stuff like that, but something that wasn't going to be big, something that wasn't going to be as heavy as a study Bible, and something that's not going to be as small as a pocket-sized Bible where the text is so small that it is almost useless. So this Bible is a good option because it really is thin. It is very thin. It is very compact, but whenever you open it up, it is the same size font that you'll find in any kind of traditional pew Bible that your church might already have. Like, for instance, we have an ESV hardback pew Bible that is a little bit bigger in terms of thickness because it has some things in the back as far as responsive reading and things. But as far as the text size itself, it is the exact same as what I have in my Bible. Now, one of the things that you probably notice about this Bible compared to the journaling and wide margin Bible options that I've shared on this channel is that there are almost no margins to speak of. Now, technically, you could probably fit in a little bit here, but not really much. And then whenever you get to the more paragraph, narrative forms like Luke, which is the example here on the screen, you have literally it's about the thickness of my pinky, and that's it. I mean, there's just no margin to speak of. And for that matter, there's also there's not really much of anything in terms of additional content on each page besides footnotes. You do see little footnotes that are called out from various parts of this page, and those will change from page to page. Some of them, like in this example, will have several things. This page only has 3 quick mentions, but suffice to say, this Thinline Bible is the idea of a minimalist approach without going to the extreme of what my reader's Bible set has, and that is just totally eliminating verse numbers and headings altogether. This is a 2-column Bible, so you have one column followed by the next. Some people like that kind of thing. Other people don't. I tend to appreciate 2 columns per page just because it breaks things up a little bit. It's a little intimidating if you just had a giant paragraph on the page. That'd be maybe a little bit too much. So I do like 2-column Bibles, but it's a matter of preference. In terms of what the Bible has beyond the book of Revelation, is it does have some more informational things. Weights and measures, a concordance, abbreviations, and this is pretty helpful. I mean, it's pretty simplistic, but if you wanted to do just kind of a very mild word study, this Bible would be able to help you out with that. There are a lot of words in here, so it's for what it is, you do get a lot kind of packed into here, and it goes all the way to the back. And then there are a few full color maps, which is always a nice touch. It's not one of those things that like absolutely has to be in every Bible, but it is good to have it. So you have several full color maps, and then that's the end of the Bible. So not a whole lot of additional material, but this Bible does have a soft place in my heart because it is the very first one I ever got from this ESV line. This has really opened me up to the world of the ESV translation, and I do appreciate having it. The only thing that I have done to this Bible is I just added a secondary ribbon to it so I could have more than one place to bookmark. But this is a good Bible if you want to have your own copy with you and you want to have something at your disposal while you're going to church services or maybe small groups. You're not planning on making notes in this Bible because the pages are very thin. If you made notes, if you highlighted, it's going to show up, it's going to bleed through. So this Bible is more of a hands-off approach, but it gets the job done, and it is a good option if you want to make use of what the Thinline Bible is all about, and that is trying to take away as much as possible in terms of size and weight without fully obliterating your eyes because of how small the text would have to be for like a pocket-sized Bible. Now, that gets me to the second one that's been sitting here very quietly, and you will notice that this Bible has my name. This Bible says Neil Morse. It is my dad's name. This Bible was actually a gift from myself to my father, who has now gone to be with the Lord several years ago. So this Bible has made its way back into my possession. So it is very special to me for that reason. And this Bible is also in the Thinline tradition of ESV, but it's just a little bit bigger than my Thinline Bible. And I will say, just at the outset, I prefer this Bible. And the reason for that is because if you're willing to give just a little bit in terms of height and in terms of width, essentially nothing in terms of thickness, maybe just a little bit, but very, very little, you don't get larger margins, but you get larger font. The text in this Bible is larger than it is in this one. I don't know what the point is. Maybe it's just 1, or maybe it's 1.5 larger, but hopefully you can tell by looking at this thin line and then looking at this one that the text is larger in the larger Bible. But that's not the only thing that this larger one gives you. Now again, you're not getting bigger margins. The margins are still very small in both Bibles. But whereas my original Thinline Bible did not have anything other than just a couple noteworthy footnotes on the bottom, this Bible not only has larger font size, but it has a full cross-reference system on every page. And to me, that is very much worth getting just a slightly larger Bible. To have that cross-reference box at the end of every page, as well as the footnotes right there, really does go a very long way in making a much more enjoyable reading experience. I feel, just my opinion here, but I feel that every Bible should have a cross-reference system at a bare minimum. If you're not going to go the Reader's Bible route where you just have nothing on the page except for the text itself, if you're going to go to the trouble of adding headings, adding chapter numbers, adding verse numbers, which none of which are inspired, none of which are in the original writings, those are just reference systems that we have made to quickly access a certain part of, in this case, 1 Kings, then you should also utilize the helpful reference system, which is what a cross-reference system is, that connects this passage, this page, with other passages in the Bible. Because again, you're trying to reference what you're reading to the rest of the Bible, or if you're trying to access something, you're trying to have a quick reference system, which is what a chapter number, a verse number, a heading is. So I think it's a very small thing to ask for, but it's something that goes a long way. And again, I think it should just be in every Bible. If you're going to have any kind of number system in the Bible versus chapter numbers, you should have a cross-reference system because that really links what you're reading to the rest of Scripture. Again, this Bible is personally cherished by me because it's what I gave to my dad and is now back in my possession. Never get rid of it. Never get rid of this one, which was my first Thinline Bible. But again, you can see the size difference is very, very minimal. But getting the larger font and getting that cross-reference on the bottom of each page is worth it to me. I mean, really, are we going to complain about, about an inch in difference of length and width? Again, nothing really in thickness, and you get a lot more for it. So both of these are genuine leather, by the way. You can see that this one does look a little bit nicer in terms of how it's held up than this one has, but to be fair, I've used this one for years and years, and this one is newer and has not been used as much. So you can't go wrong with either of these, but because they're so small, because the pages are so thin, I recommend, regardless if you get the traditional Thinline or the large print Thinline, get genuine leather. I mean, it is a small enough Bible to where it will not break the bank to get genuine leather, and you'll be glad you did because you want something that's going to protect those pages as much as possible because it is pretty flimsy. Both Bibles are pretty flimsy on their own. So if you had like a paperback or just a regular hardcover, like the cardboard hardcover, like that's going to deteriorate very, very fast. So get genuine leather. But these are the classic, iconic Thinline ESV Bibles, the regular and then the one with large print and cross references. Recommend this one, but both of them are good. But that's just one more option of Bibles, and again, I think they work best in a worship service setting, small group setting, Sunday school setting. If you don't want to carry all of your tools of the trade with you from your own personal study, if you don't want to lug around a study Bible, this is a really good option. So the ESV Thinline Bible, I'll have more Bible reviews in the future as always, but thank you so much for watching this. This is Kevin with Better Bible Reading, and I will be with you on another video in the very near future. Have a great rest of your day.